touching earth. Our Father, all of heaven roars your name. Sing it louder. Let this place erupt with praise. Can you hear it? The sound of heaven touching earth. The sound of heaven touching earth. Our Father, all of heaven roars your name. Sing louder. Let this place erupt with praise. Can you hear it? The sound of heaven touching earth. The sound of heaven touching earth. Spirit break out over all the earth. Break our walls down. Oh, Spirit break out. Heaven come down. Sing Spirit break out. Spirit break out. Break our walls down. Break our walls down. Spirit break out. Spirit break out. Heaven come down. Heaven come down. Spirit break out. Spirit break out. Break our walls down. Every single one we say. Spirit break out. Heaven come down. King Jesus, you're the name we're lifting high. Your glory shaking up the earth and sky. Revival, we wanna see your kingdom here. We wanna see your kingdom here. King Jesus, you're the name we're lifting high. Your glory shaking up the earth and skies. Revival, we wanna see your kingdom here. We wanna see your kingdom Spirit break out over all our homes. Break our walls down. Open up our hearts and our souls. Spirit break out. Oh, heaven come down. Let this be our prayer over all the earth. Spirit break out. Spirit break out. Break our walls down. Spirit break out. Heaven come down.
Good morning and welcome to our online devotional for this Halloween weekend. Just a reminder that this morning we are at Arcadia County Park for our special Fall Festival Church in the Park. There's still time to come, and as of now, we still have some extra empanadas for you. So first come, first serve, get in your car, come on down as fast as you can safely. There are also going to be games for the kids, a costume contest, and even a magic show. So I encourage you to join us if you can make it down to Arcadia County Park this morning. Now this morning we'll also be hearing from Pastor Julie about an upcoming missions trip that she'll be leading toward the mid to later part of November. You might recall that last month she led a vision trip to Tijuana. This month, Pastor Julie is traveling to Arizona to Rainbow Acres. Now, Rainbow Acres is a Christian community for adults with developmental disabilities that has roots in our American Baptist denomination. Now, pre-pandemic, we've supported this beautiful community financially and through sending small teams to volunteer on their campus and with their residents. We're excited that this year we're able to send an in-person team again. Here's Pastor Julie as she shares a little about Rainbow Acres and the trip that she's planning next month. Good morning. I'm here with Pastor Julie, and we're apparently here for another episode of Where Are You Going This Month? Pastor Julie, why don't you tell everybody where are you going this month and when are you going?
Hi, everyone. I'm excited that I get to go somewhere again. Thankfully that the pandemic is over, getting to resume some of our normal rhythms of mission trips. And so November 19th through the 22nd, we will be heading out to Camp Verde, Arizona. It's about 450 miles away. And we will be spending time at Rainbow Acres, which is a ranch for adults who are have physical and intellectual disabilities.
Oh, great. And so you've been going to Rainbow Acres for a few years now, as Evergreen has sent teams over the years. What continues to draw you back to Rainbow Acres?
Well, actually, the first time I went to Rainbow Acres was actually in 1995 when I was a senior in high school. So I've been going there for a really long time. And there a lot of the ranchers that I met at that time are still living there. And so for me, the relationship and the connection with them is really very precious to me. What draws me in terms of wanting to bring a group, I think there's something that we can learn. There's so much actually that we can learn from people with intellectual disabilities. I think, we get so used to kind of our norm, and it's so great when we meet someone who thinks outside of the box, who might maybe not speak as clearly as you and I might have different things going on in their brain that make it hard for them to communicate, but there's always something that we can learn from them. And I think it makes us better, stronger, more compassionate, more empathetic people. And I think there's a lot we can learn about God too, God's character, the way that God loves us unconditionally. I mean, when you walk into the dining room at Rainbow Acres, really within 5 minutes, you feel like you already have at least a handful of best friends, people that just love you because you're there and you're spending time with them. And it ministers really deeply to your soul, I think. So I think we go to give and we come back having received so much more.
Pastor Julie, can you share with us maybe one story that sort of really captures your experience or something that you've really valued as an experience at Rainbow Acres?
Yeah, and there's so many, it's hard to pick one, but Vicky actually comes to mind. She has been on the ranch since probably 97. I met her when I was in college and when I went. And I just have this kind of special relationship with her. She's very quiet. She rarely speaks, but she speaks to me. And that just means so much to me. Um, she is someone, a lot of these ranchers have loving families who have decided that this is the best place for them.
Mhm.
But that actually doesn't make up even half of the rancher population. A lot of the ranchers really have no family, no money, nobody caring for them. And so the ranch has taken them in. And the only way that they can afford to live there is through their Adopt a Rancher program, where
Hmm.
churches or individuals will give a certain amount every month to help cover their fees.
Hmm.
Um, so Vicky is one of those people. She doesn't really have a family nearby or a family that really supports her or cares for her. So one thing that we've been able to do the last few times we've gone is actually do a shopping trip for Vicky before we show up, because she is in need of things like, new pajamas and slippers and a couple of pairs of new clothes. And so we've been able to come with those for her and just watch her open those, like, early Christmas. We go at
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, but it's early Christmas. Open those gifts, and the light and joy in her eyes that she hasn't been forgotten, that there are people that don't even know her that care about her. And then the fact that I come back, year after year to see her, um, she just gives me these big, big, big hugs that, it's so, I mean, I love hugs, but it's so hard to,
We all know that, yeah.
and you
That's your
can't
love
really
language.
say, you can't really say that one person hugs better than another, but receiving a hug from Vicky, because she doesn't do that very often.
Hmm.
The rancher staff say that she really is very quiet. She has a boyfriend who is Jack, and they have been together for over 20 years at Rainbow Acres. And Jack is a weaver. I'll try to show some pictures of him too. But she really only talks to Jack. So to have that connection with her is really meaningful to me, and
Hmm.
it keeps me wanting to go back, because I think, gosh, Vicky needs to know that I'm still here and that I still
Yeah.
love her.
What do you typically do on a trip to Rainbow Acres? Like, what does a team from Evergreen typically do on a trip to Rainbow Acres?
Well, I think this is our fifth team, or maybe fourth or fifth team. So we kind of have our routine, but we're always open to changing it up. I think it really depends on the makeup of the group and what we have to offer. So it usually consists of at least one work project. So
Hmm.
one year we were like shoveling gravel and digging trenches for a new garden.
Mhm.
One year we were working on landscaping in front of a yard. Another year we were like sorting hundreds of skeins of yarn for the weaving room. So they usually have something for us to do. So we usually spend one day doing half a day doing that. The other things we do is just interact with the ranchers. We have bingo night is kind of our claim to fame. And we usually bring a lot of prizes, which the ranchers love. Um, Actually, the last few times we've have enough prizes for everyone to get something. So we just keep playing till everyone gets a bingo at some point. um, so, that's always a ton of fun getting to do that. We'll do like a craft afternoon and a game night. And um, the thing that probably is the most special to us is that every morning the ranchers have prayer circle, where they gather at 8:30, and whoever one of the staff usually leads it, and they'll sing, they'll pray together. It's not a mandatory thing, but a lot of the ranchers do attend. So when we're there, we usually lead those sessions. So that's always really special for us. Um, we also like to attend the little tiny rock church that's across the street from the ranch where a lot of the ranchers attend. So, it's really relationally based, which makes sense because it's led by me and I'm very relational. So it's all about spending time with the ranchers. But if there's someone who has more of like a, you know, is an electrician or is a carpenter or something that they would like to do, then there's definitely things that can be done. So you wouldn't have to do bingo night if you didn't want to. So, um, yeah, it's about, really, by the time you leave, a lot of our team cries when we leave because we have formed such close connections with the ranchers. Um, it's hard. It's really hard to say goodbye. And I'll
Yeah.
probably cry when we arrive because it's been 3 years since we've been
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So it feels like going home to me, actually. Really
Hmm.
does. Well, in the past, I have brought families, and it's actually a really great opportunity for families to go and serve together. Um, I will be bringing all four of my kids, and they would love to have other kids or youth coming with them. Um, there, there's a lot for any age to be able to get involved with. Um, I think in terms of skill set, it's really any skill, anybody can come. I mean, as long as you have a smile on your face and are willing to um, play a game with someone or help someone make a craft or sit next to someone and help them fill out their bingo card, like it's really just an openness, I think, to
Hmm.
serve and to love on people.
Hmm.
um, and even if you're an introvert and being with people all day long feels overwhelming, we can make arrangements for that too. So there are definitely times during the day when people can have a break and just walk around. The ranch is beautiful. They have, I can't remember how many acres, 20 acres maybe. They have horses, they have goats, they have, so it's just a beautiful place to walk. And the Verde Valley, if you've never been, it's a really beautiful part of Arizona. It's not deserty at all. It's very it has a lot of trees, and there's even a river, and so it's a beautiful area.
When would people need to apply for the trip by?
um, I would love for people to apply by next week, by the end of next week, because we need to. Oh, there's one thing that, so the state of Arizona requires everyone who's working with this kind of population to have a TB test within 6 months of visiting. So I need people in enough time for the MET to review the applications and then give you enough time to get your TB test. We'll be driving, like caravanning out, leave early Saturday morning, and we'll return Tuesday evening, just in time to get ready for Thanksgiving. If you're interested in applying, the applications are actually online this year, and I will have some paper copies though at Church in the Park this Sunday. But you can just click on the link in Pastor Jason's email, and you'll be able to go straight to the application, and it will submit right away. So I really, really would love for you to consider joining us. It's a very meaningful experience, and it's hard to explain it fully without going. So I think everyone should have the experience of going at least once, because it really it changes you. I think for me the biggest thing is seeing people live without inhibitions, and sometimes inhibitions are good, but for me, I worry way too much about what people think of me. I just, that occupies so much of my mind space, and to be around people that really, that's not something that they think about. So they're laughing and, doing things that is just fun. And you see like the freedom, I think you see the freedom that brings when you're not worrying about what people think of you and you're just being yourself. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of us can learn that lesson.
Thank you for sharing, just giving us a taste of what an experience at Rainbow Acres would be like. I think you've sold it to all of us, and so definitely want to encourage all of you to prayerfully consider joining Pastor Julie on this trip and being part of Evergreen's representatives to go there and receive from this community, but also to serve and to love this community. I think it's an important part and ties into our vision of being a home for the new humanity, because we know that the community at Rainbow Acres is a big part of God's new humanity. And we just want to be there and want to be a part of what God is doing over there.
I hope you will consider being part of this wonderful team this year. Applications are due in about a week, so if you're interested, you can contact Pastor Julie or the church office for more information. Now this morning, I also want to remind you of our special baptism and child dedication service coming up in 1 month on November 27th, which is the weekend after Thanksgiving. Last week, you may recall our dedication of little Louisa on Ebbet as we celebrated with parents Mitch and Andy. While our faith tradition does not perform infant baptisms because we value a person's conscious decision to follow Jesus when they're a little bit older, we do have a way to welcome a child into our church family and offer a blessing for both child and family. Child dedication is a way for us as a church to commit to walking with the child and their family as they mature, promising to surround the family with love and support all the way through their teenage years. We will often call this baby dedication, but historically we've dedicated children all the way up to the age of 6, so it's really more of a child dedication. Now with the pandemic years, we're playing a little bit of catch up, and so we want to encourage those of you who have young children from first grade and younger to consider child dedication this November. As a congregation, we want to pray for you, we want to bless you, and we want to support you in Christ on your parenting journey. You can contact Kathy Hubbard in the church office for more information on child dedication. Now, on the same Sunday, November 27th, we are also holding our first baptisms since the pandemic. Baptism is an ancient practice of the church where a Christian makes a commitment to faith in Jesus Christ and seals that commitment through being immersed in water. Now, as you go into the water and then emerge from it, this symbolizes your own death and resurrection in Jesus. Your old life is gone as you take on the new life of Christ. Now, as Christians, and especially as American Baptists, we believe that God invites us to commit our lives to Him through this sacred act of baptism. I'm reminded of the story of Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch in Acts chapter 8. Where the eunuch is on the road back from Jerusalem reading a prophetic passage from the Messiah, or about the Messiah from the book of Isaiah. God leads Philip to this eunuch as he's studying this passage and asks him, "Do you understand what you're reading?" And the eunuch replies, "How can I unless somebody explains it to me?" And so Philip starts telling the Ethiopian about Jesus' life, about his death, and about his resurrection from the grave. Now, the Ethiopian is so moved by the Jesus story that as they come upon a body of water along the road, he orders his chariot to stop and asks, "What can stand in the way of me being baptized?" And so Philip and the eunuch go down to the water, and Philip baptizes him right then and there. Now, some of you have been journeying with us from the start of the pandemic, and maybe you just sense that this Jesus story that you've been hearing about, maybe through our ministry, has really started to make sense to you. Maybe there's something inside of you that almost tingles as you think about God's presence in your life. And you just feel like you want to fully step into living by faith. If that's you, I believe God is inviting you to be baptized. It's like you're on the road to Jerusalem yourself and you see the River Jordan on the horizon, and you'll get there on November 27th. Well, what can stand in the way of you being baptized? I'd love to see you commit your life to Jesus and receive the blessing of doing so. Now, others of you have been part of this community for years or even decades, and maybe you're thinking, has my window of opportunity passed? Or maybe you're wondering, why do I need to be baptized? I've been coming to church for most of my life and I'm just fine. Well, I believe that God is inviting you too. God doesn't want you to just be fine. God wants you to flourish in faith. It's never too late to take this important step of faith. For you, maybe you've been on the chariot for a while and you've passed countless bodies of water throughout your life journey. But up in the distance, you can see another beautiful river crossing. What can stand in the way of you being baptized? Formally commit your life to Christ and reinvigorate your relationship with Him. If you consider yourself a follower of Jesus and you've yet to be baptized, take this opportunity to do so with our church family. Our pastors would love to walk you through the process. A baptism seminar will be held this Wednesday, November 2nd on Zoom, and Pastor Ryan himself will be taking the youth through their own baptism seminar on Friday nights. And if there are any of you that cannot make it onto campus for the baptism service, can't make it to the seminar, but would still like to be baptized, then please email me and we'll figure something out. I want you to be baptized and blessed through the waters of baptism. For the rest of us, I invite you to be praying as some of the rest of us consider this amazing act of faith. And as we close this morning, I also invite us all to be praying for our Family Promise family as we host this week on our campus. Let's ask God to surround them with hospitality and care through our volunteers and through our church facility. Hope to see you next week as we begin our November series on the love of neighbor and the love of money. Grace and peace to you. Have a safe and happy Halloween.